with knowing the market. Obviously, whether you're new or experienced, this is the part that I love about real estate, is that if you're brand new, day one in the business, you can know the market stats and the market information just as well as anyone who's experienced, right? And the reason you can do that is because we have information at our fingertips. So where do you get that? Where do you go? What's the best bang for your buck? Because you could spend 2 weeks inside of FMLS pulling all the reports if you wanted. But really, what are the key ones? Where do you want to go and get that information? And so we'll go through that. The first thing I want to show you is not in FMLS. And you may or may not have heard of this site, but it's Fred. It's the St. Louis federal government, essentially the St. Louis Federal Reserve, that has a website where they go through all kinds of different things. You can pull up, units sold in properties, mortgage rates, things like that. But I bring up this mortgage one, and I think I took this snapshot maybe a week ago. But what you'll see here, excuse me, is since I guess this goes back to 1970. Is that the time frame on this? Yeah, 1971 through January 27th. So this was a little over a week ago where this screenshot was taken. You can go to it. It's if you just do Fred economic data in Google, you'll come to this site and you can go find any data you want. But the reason you might use this for buyers, how it relates to today's class, is if you look at the 30-year fixed mortgage rate, right? Everyone knows mortgage rates are going up. I think I just saw an article that said it tops 4% for the first time, and since it last hit it, years ago. And so buyers are going to ask you that, right? Well, should I buy now? Should I buy later? Prices are high now, but also interest rates are ticking up. Where is that intersection? What's the best break even? And while we can provide data, and I would love for you to send them, this piece of information to show them, listen, 4% isn't scary. 7.5 is where this chart starts, all the way up to, I think it was, I forget the exact number. It's like 18 something. I think there were some people who said they saw 21s and stuff like that during this period of time. So, giving your buyer maybe some perspective, especially if they're in that first time buyer group, like we looked at the beginning of this class, may give them a little bit of perspective that, look, if we really hone in on this last little part here on this chart, it's historically low, right? If you pull this little sample and run it back across the entire time since 1971, it's still the lowest that it's ever been in like a 5-year period. So you can drill down on this chart. That's why I like it, is if you had a client who was asking you those questions, maybe they're that more cautious or steady personality that wants to know all this stuff, show them this on your computer, zoom in on the last 5 years, zoom out, for all of these years, and show them really what's happening. So great information for you to know, great information for them to know, but that's where you will find that. And then knowing the market through inventory, we'll show on FMLS how to do that, but this also, you can drill down into counties on their website. And so if you like this graph better or whatever, use this. If you like the FMLS graph better, use that. If you like Georgia MLS better, use that. The point is to know the market and know those stats, right? So how do you know the market? You're going to preview properties, MLS stats and reports, new construction, and neighborhood updates. If you do all of those things, you're going to have a really good pulse on what's happening in the market, your neighborhood, the neighborhoods you want to service, the areas you want to service. Maybe it's the whole general Atlanta metro, whatever you're looking at. If you do these things, this will drive you to success in those categories. And so we'll break those down really quick. So how do you preview properties? If you've never done that before, you may say, oh, I just contact the listing agent, or how do I start this? Well, in both of those, FMLS and Georgia MLS, there's a schedule showing, just like you schedule for a client. There's actually a button there that says agent preview. And so you can set up a showing where it's just you, the agent, going to see the property. Obviously, you can attend open houses and broker open houses and things like that. But if you want to go scout out a property, maybe there's a client coming in town, that whole list of 50, you want to get the jump on it and help narrow it down. They say, all right, we've narrowed it down to 20. And you say, well, based on that conversation we had, I don't think they're really going to like you. And what I would do too, back to that conversation we had with Timmy, is that if they do give me, a breakdown from the 50 to 20 or 10, and they say, this is what we want to go see, if you ask them to rank based on what they know about the property, right? They obviously haven't seen it, but if they could rank it like 1 to 10 or 1 to 20, then you could probably say, listen, I know we're not going to get to 20. Let me start at the top and go through and really look at those properties, right? So you look at 1, 2, and 3, and maybe on number 3, you look at it and you say, well, that doesn't have a fenced in backyard. They said they want fenced in when they move in, for that property to be there. And so maybe you bring that up and can help, facilitate. Or maybe it's a property you can't really tell online, so you schedule an agent preview. You go out to that property, take a look at it. Maybe you show them like a picture of the backyard and say, listen, it wasn't on MLS, but this is what it looks like, right? It's really hilly or slanted or whatever. It's not going to be great for your animals or kids or whatever it is. And so that's how you would do that, right? You previewing the properties that you're going to go out there and see. So that's one way to know the market. The next way is through all of the stats. FMLS and Georgia MLS are loaded with stats. Which ones are important? A few is the answer. The biggest one and the best one is the absorption report. If you do not know how to run this, we have a video on our YouTube channel of how to run it and a breakdown of that. We talk about this report in every class. If you come to all of our classes, you're probably like, of course, I knew you were going to say that. I'm tired of hearing about it, but it is the best one. It's the best all-in-one report. Okay, and it's great for buyers or sellers. Some people say, oh, it's a seller's report. It's not. And the reason it's not is because what it does will show what the list price to contract price, like sold price, is for a zip code, an elementary school district, a neighborhood, however tight down you want to get with your buyer. And really that helps. Your buyer should know in this market that they're not going to come in with a 70% offer on a finished move-in property. But if they do want to come in, you run that report and show them, hey, look, this zip code, this neighborhood, this elementary school, this county, whatever you run it for, actually has 105% list to sold price. So actually it's a 5% premium that people are paying, not a 30% reduction in price. So you're able to show them stats. And it's stats, it's facts. It's not your opinion. You're not trying to, get them into a more expensive house or a different house or whatever. It's facts. Here's the information. Here are the details based on what we're looking at. And so it's my favorite report. I know I talk about it all the time, but I can't I can't recommend it enough. The next one obviously is the Cloud CMA, even for your buyers, right? Inside of the Cloud CMA configuration, there's some things you can do for like showing property tours, buyer sheets, and things like that. So that's why that one can be important. Fast Stats is inside of FMLS. All of this is in FMLS under the report section, but Fast Stats is in there, and you can actually drill down per county. And when you click on the county, it'll actually break into a zip code. So if you want something like in the far right, like a one-sheeter that just goes per zip code, and you want to give that to a buyer, that's kind of a general overview. The report looks nice. It's that type of report. The absorption report is just raw data. You have to print it through the internet, browser. It's not pretty. It's one of those that you print out and you take your pen and your highlighter, and when you're meeting with your client, you circle numbers and show them. It's that type of report. But both really good. Both have their place. And then market stats, we do that for you, put it in Vision. Each county has this breakdown, so it'll be a little video like this. It drops the numbers in. So each month we put those up for all of the counties. Renee actually does that for us here at Solid Source. And so you'll see that in your Vision accounts. I'll show you where to get that. And that's more of a way to show those stats in your social media campaigns. So knowing the market, new construction. This website right here, from what I know, has all of the ones that I can remember ever searching for. And so it's a whole new site. It's not an MLS tied site, but my understanding is the builders feed into that like they do most of them into Zillow, but they have to have like an agreement to be able to feed into that. So you may find like some builders, maybe some smaller builders aren't plugged into that, but this is a good site, newhomesource.com, if you're looking for that new construction, or going to the builder sites if you know that a builder's popular in that area and just searching it out, because this can be an untapped area for inventory, right? Sometimes, like we just said, you may not find it on the MLS, and typically a lot of times what the builders will do on FMLS and Georgia MLS is they'll put one property in either as a finished product, right, or they'll put it in there once it hits drywall phase if it's an inventoried home, right? Like one that's not under construction for a person. Sometimes they'll just put a sample from like Arizona and they'll say, this is not Atlanta, this is Arizona, but this is what it might look like. So use all of those is the point. The FMLS, Georgia MLS, New Home Source, driving, builder sites, Zillow if you have to get to that point. But these are ways, that you're trying to unlock some inventory for your clients, right? Maybe some that, and you'll have some clients who say they won't consider new construction. And we're going to ask some questions here in a second of your clients to be able to get to that point. But there are some clients who will not buy new construction because they want that charm of a older home or something like that, and maybe it's in a historic district or something like that. You just can't have it, new construction like that. So previewing those homes, you can go in, right? You can go to those neighborhoods, preview those properties, just check in at the front. If they have the doors locked and they don't have kind of an open house policy for their inventory homes, just check in and say, hey, I'm an agent. I just want to preview a couple of these properties and go see those. Then you can relay that information back to your client, meet and greet with the people that are there. And so that's where we say, some possible secret inventory. Neighborhood updates. So obviously you're going to get this out to your clients. Your clients say, hey, this is what we're looking for. You set them up on a search in MLS, in either of the MLSs. You search for the criteria, like in FMLS, it's matrix. And then at the bottom, all you have to do is save it as a new auto email. You can also save it as a saved search, so it's on your favorites tab. But if you do the auto email, you can copy yourself. And I highly recommend that, because what's going to happen is you're going to send this out to clients and they're going to call you and say, or text you and say, hey, really want to see that property at 123 Main Street you just sent, because it, the whole email is like from you. And you're going to say, uh-oh, what property? Let me log in. Let me go here. Can you send it to me? And instead of all of that, all you have to do is look at your phone or your computer email, and you'll see that you were copied on there. It will say neighborhood update for whatever. And then you can pull it up maybe while you're chatting with them and say, perfect, I see this property right here. I see what you're talking about. Let me schedule some time and let's go out there. Because we all know today, in today's buyer's market, if you see this property today and you schedule it for 7 days from now, it's probably already closed. So we got to get out there. We got to look at this property. We need to get at least in front of it instead of way late. One more key point on the neighborhood update is you can select daily, but if you see down there on this tab right here, it says ASAP. So that means a listing agent put the property in, it's in that neighborhood or criteria, boom, it's going out to your client and copying you on it. This is actually the fastest way for your clients to have access to properties, okay? So the rebuttal against, oh, I'll just use Zillow, I have my own search set up, is listen, this comes directly from the MLS. No matter how fast Zillow updates, it comes MLS first and then goes to Zillow. So just a little word to you to be able to make them understand that what you're sending them is the fastest way to see a property hit the market. So we're going to talk a little bit about marketing. There's some very ingenious ways of being able to market yourself if you want to. You can see from here. I do like the QR code he had on there. That's kind of next level. So agent icon, you have that. The cloud CMA, you think about it being marketing, it is marketing because it's got your information on there. The buyer and seller guides, the market stats, and social media. So we hit on those items a little bit in detail earlier, but just keep those in mind when you're marketing for yourself. And then HomeSnap. Does anyone here use HomeSnap when they're showing properties? It's the best way to show property when you're out there with your client. If you don't, if you don't want to print those 10 FMLS sheets, and maybe you print just the initial page to give to your client, and you have your tablet or your phone or your computer, if you want to go that route, and you pull up HomeSnap, you can pull everything from the MLS right there, but it's in a nice little neat package. Schools are in there, property lot lines are in there. It is one of the most efficient ways for you to show property and have all the stats at your fingertips, and you have an included account so with FMLS, so there's no charge for you to be able to utilize that part of their service. They will run ads for you if you want to generate some more business. That does cost you a little bit of money. I think one of the ads there charges like $3 a day to run on Facebook and stuff like that. So if you want the easy button, then that's HomeSnap to run ads for you if you want to market yourself that way. Through the website, we offer a service here, KV Core. It's a really easy website to use. It's a lead generation site with a smart CRM. You'll see this example here. On the left, you would search for a property on your website. On the middle part, you would post that link in your Facebook business page. And then when someone clicks on it, once they see it on Facebook, once they click on it, it's going to drive back to that website. And after they look at a few pictures, it's going to pop up and say, log in and get full access. They put their info in. Now that drives back to your CRM. You'll have access to the full IDX website search, and you can share your website with your clients, get your picture on it and things like that. But that's the easy button to be able to generate leads. We talked about Facebook business page earlier. We have a step-by-step guide on our solidsourcechannel.com on how to do that. Here's where I really want to dive in. So if you copy the URL, post it there, that's how you see that information. But this could be some ideas for you to generate. And I know D-Row has done this. You can do a search on your website, see all homes in Alpharetta with a pool. So you go to your website, you search Alpharetta or wherever you're at, and check the check mark with pool. Take that URL like we talked about on the last slide, down here, and what you'll do is just post it into your social media, Facebook, and it's going to generate a link for all homes in Alpharetta with a pool. Somebody clicks on that, it goes back to your website. So just a few ideas. View ranch homes in McDonough, which of these basement homes do you like most? View homes under 300K, see homes within 5 miles of the airport, right? Those are just some general ideas. You can do anything you want to on the IDX side of it. Create a search, all homes with a fence, anything that will pull from the FMLS criteria will pull onto that website. So there's some ideas there to help try to generate some business and market yourself.